It's been a hot minute since I've made a video. I made a short, but I have more time on my hands because I'm like, I'm in between like jobs right now and like stuff like that. But like, I now officially have time to read and make videos for you guys. I'm so excited, and I just want to do this video is what I read in January and February, and then my March TBR. And I will add a book I currently just finished. Like that's fair. It'll just be included on like my want to read March list, and it'll just be read. So get a little sneak peek of the next video, hopefully. So let's just get into it. In January, the first book I read of the year was The Legacy by Elle Kennedy. It was the last book in the off-campus series. It just talks about like all the characters from the off-campus series, their life after like hockey and everything, and like them moving forward. It's not like, don't think it's too far in the future. I think it's like a few years, but like you see I can't say much, but you can see like them moving on and getting married and engaged, and it probably, I don't think it's my favorite, but it definitely left me heartbroken for a few days after like I read this. Like I was devastated. I was like yearning. I was wanting to be in this book with these characters so much because I've been reading them since like September of 2023 too, and it just took a hit on my heart because I don't get to read directly from Dean's point of view, or from Dean or Allie or Garrett and Garrett and Hannah, or John and Grace, or Tucker and Sabrina. Like I don't get that anymore. Like this is the last one of all of them, and then that series. So, but thank God for rereads, thank God for multiverses and stuff like that. But yeah, I read this. I think I give this a 5 out of 5 stars. I would still give this a 5 out of 5 stars. It was a low spice, but you still get it. And it also just left on a very good note from every character, because again, it's from all the characters in the book, their life after, a few years later, of like engagement and marriage and all that. And so I completely loved this book so much. It's so good. I read this, and then what did I read next? I don't know if I'm gonna do this in order, but then I read Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and it was a good book. I remember I started on my Kindle, I think last year in March, actually like a year ago I started this, because a year ago I started this during spring break, and it's spring break officially. I have finished, but I finished it and I started it. I just couldn't get into it because everyone says it's a spicy book, and yes, it is. It is spicy. And I was like, I just couldn't get into it because I expected it to be kind of like spice and no plot, you know? And it's kind of like that, but then again, it's not. Like, it's not crazy spice, but the spice is good. Like, yeah. But I read it, and it took a while to get into it, and I eventually finished it. I think I gave it like 3 stars just because the way people were saying it, like, it's super spicy, it's so good. I was expecting a lot more spicier scenes, and there weren't, but the spice was still like really good. The tension, I think that's what I got confused with. The tension in this book is absolutely phenomenal. I liked it a lot. If you just want a simple HRAP romance, completely recommend this. It's about Jordan and her boyfriend, and Jordan's boyfriend is kind of a booty hole. Not the right word everyone says, but he's basically a big craphead. They like somehow get like, I think, evicted from their apartment, or they cannot live in their apartment, and like they have nowhere else to live. So they're like, Jordan's boyfriend's dad, Pike, is like, oh, you can come live with me. And again, Pike's really good for his age. He's a single dad. It's a 19-year age gap, because I think Pike had Jordan's boyfriend when he was 19, and like the tension because Jordan's boyfriend's inviting over different people. It's just like, okay, so that's like the whole thing, just the tension, like a few spicy scenes. But I like this. Completely 18 years and older. Yeah, this is a very spicy book. So if you're like, I would only read this if you're comfortable with that, and if you're over the age of 18, if you're like not comfortable with that, I would say this one 16. Like it has a few spicy scenes, but like not like this one. This one's mild, very mild compared to this one, obviously. And then I read a little novella. I read Killjoy by Holly Jackson. I think I read it as the last book in the series, and I completely recommend it like that, but people say you can either read it last or read it first, and in my opinion, read it last. I will say that because it's kind of cool after reading everything, knowing how it started off, after knowing everything that happened in the 3 books, and then reading this and be like, so that's why she got into it and all that. I completely recommend reading this last, but it's basically, I'm gonna just read the back because I don't remember a lot from it because it's again so short, and it was like 2 months ago I read this. It says Pip is not in the mood for her friend's murder mystery party, especially one that involves the 1920s, fancy dresses, 1920s fit and fancy dresses, and pretending that their town is on an island called Joy. But once the game begins, Pip finds herself drawn to the make-believe world of intrigue, deception, and murder. As Pip plays detective, teasing about her identity of the killer, clue by clue, the murder of fictional Reginald Remy isn't the only case on mind. Welcome to the murder mystery party of the year, fans of the hit. Oh, then it goes on to talk about. But it was good. It was short. It was not my favorite in this series, just because it's so short. Like, it's good. Like, kind of forgot I even read this because it's so short. But it was good. I liked it. I love Holly Jackson's writing. I really want to read 5 Survive because it's the last book I have to read on her backlog. On the book. Whoa, on the books. On the back. I think I haven't read yet. I've read the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, finished, including this. And that's all I have to left. All I have left to read. And then I'm finished so far. I hope he's making another book. I know Good Girls Guide to Murder is becoming a show. And I forget the girl that played Enid on Wednesday. I forget her name. I think it's like Emma something. Oh. And I'm excited because it's going to be really good, I'm hoping. It's going to be on BBC, I think. So, your girl's going to watch it whenever it comes out. And then this is the last book I read in January. I read A Court of Frost and Starlight, the fourth book in the ACOTAR series, I would say. Oh my gosh, my phone keeps on going off. I would say it's a great book to read, a good palate cleanser coming back from everything that happened in, especially the 3rd and the 2nd book. Let's go back. Is that better? I liked it because I liked it. I don't love it. Like, I love the rest of the series except for the first one, if you know what I mean. Can't say anything. But I liked it. When I tell you, when this became, the first 3 are YA, and then from this one to the last one, oh my gosh, my phone keeps on going off. Becomes a new adult. I'm telling you, it becomes new adult. Because my mom's reading it, and I had no idea it was going to be this 18 years old or spicy. I was like, my mom is reading this. And I'm just like, okay. But either way, I liked it. It was not my favorite. I kind of got bored, I think, like a third of the way in. And the rest of the half felt like cutesy and sad at parts. And again, it was a little spicy. But I think it's just the winter solstice and Farrah's birthday after, I don't even think this is a spoiler, but after ACO War, that's the 3rd book, after everything that's happened, it's everyone just kind of like calming down and coming to like, taking a break before another storm hits of like another political thing. That's not a spoiler. And it's just, I have to be careful the way I say this because like it could spoil the entire series. I don't want that to ruin that for someone. But it's, again, like super chill, cute, happy, sad, wholesome at parts. But I did like this. I think I gave it like a 3-star. Don't think I gave it a 5-star. Just again, it's short, it's sweet. I can see what this can be someone's least favorite because it just not a lot happened in this book. And it's not saying I don't love this book, I hate this book. It's just not my favorite. And the series, this is probably my least favorite just because, ooh, no. That depends. I'm gonna make a video talking about this series, but I can see where people's this can be their least favorite. But I would recommend this. I would say like 18 years old, just because like these spicy scenes were spicy. But yeah, I read this, and then I only read 4 books in January. I had read 2 like good sized books, and then I read 2 novellas because I knew I was like pacing myself for next month. Because next month I finished the ACOTAR series, and I read A Court of Silver Flames. This ginormous book I finished last month. I stayed up really late, like on a Thursday night, finishing it. But I'm gonna put spoiler warning here because I will be talking about things that happened in the past books and like these, because this could be big, really big spoilers, and I don't want to ruin it for someone who's trying to get into the series. I just spoil a big chunk of it or whatever. So I'll put a timestamp, hopefully right like somewhere on the screen. I'll make it big so I'm not like it's like itty bitty. But basically, this deals with okay, this is a spoiler. This deals with Nesta after the war and after everything that's going on, after her father's death, and like after Hybern and everything like that. A war, let alone seeing like your father die and seeing a lot of people die, can take a toll on you. And so basically what happens is Nesta starts being reckless, and she's dealing it with by drinking and sleeping with guys and all this, and then one day she kind of just overdoes it, and Feyre and Rhys were like, okay, that's enough, Feyre, like Nesta, like this is outrageous. You're spending so much money making my name look bad, making our court look bad. Like, you represent us, whether you like it or not. You're living in this court. You have to represent it. Like, it doesn't matter if you want to or not. Like, you are in this court. You are High Fae. You are my mate's wife, my mate's sister. You have got to. She goes, well, fine. Like, she goes, and they end up deciding that she's gonna stay in House of Wind, and that the only like just in House of Wind and train with Cassian, and Cassian's like, okay, yes, okay, and she's like, what? No, I'm not doing it. I don't want to train. I don't want to do this, blah blah blah. Because she lives she lives like really far away from them. Because again, she's still dealing with being High Fae and being part of this court and having these powers. She's like overwhelmed. I like to think of like Reputation Taylor Swift and Reputation. She's overwhelmed with all the hate. That's how Nesta feels. She feels so overwhelmed with everything going on, how Taylor Swift felt. And they go, you have no choice. You either live in the House of Wind or you go back to the Mortal Lands. And she's like, I can't live in the Mortal Lands. Like, they will kill me. Like, there's no way. And so she goes and lives, and her and Amryn have a big fight, I guess, and stuff happens. I'm trying my best not to like leave it, but again, this is like the spoiler section. I can't try my best, but with this one, it is going to be kind of spoilery. But like stuff happens. I would say it was good. It just took me. Okay, spoiler section end. 3 weeks to read this. Like the whole month of February was me reading this book because it's just 751 pages. It's 751 pages. It's the longest book I've read ever, but I enjoyed it. I think it's actually one of my favorites. Like, okay, it's one of my favorite books I think I've read so far in this year. One of my favorites. I won't say my favorite. Well, I would say it's kind of my favorite book I've read this whole year because, again, me getting closer with the characters. I think I cried like multiple times reading this book because it's just. Okay, this person, you're dealing with, oh, no. You're dealing with Nesta just like, yeah, I feel like she's like, I'm not a baby. I'm not someone that feels like she should be treated this way. I'm human. I'm Faye. I'm, like, she's like, just talk to me. And she's like, it's sad to read that because she's like dealing with so much and it's almost like no one understands. But again, people understand. And it's like, really hard to know that only like it feels like no one understands her, but then again it's like we kind of understand you. And so I think I gave this book 5 stars in the end, even though it took me so long to read. I gave it 5 stars. I'm glad I read it. I own Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. I'm gonna try to finish that series this year because I want to just not get another SJM book, but I don't want to spend like 2 years reading it like I did with this one because I'm ready to stick with series and not take such long breaks from them because that could happen. But again, this book is very good. I think it's one of my favorites in the series. My favorite is Aka War. Everyone says it's Aka Moth, but mine's Aka War. I love that a lot more. But this one is equally as good. I'm glad I read it. And then I think I finished it. And then like a week later, I decided to pick up Twisted Love because my friend for Christmas got me Twisted Games and Twisted Hate. And my friend, she read this back in the summer of last year in 2023. And my cousin recently finished this, I think in January, said, you have to read this. I own this for over a year. She said, y'all, you have got to read this book. It's amazing. I was like, okay, I'll start it. And I think I had like 150 pages left of this. I was going to double read, but I ended up reading like 50 pages of this. And then I have to finish this. He keeps on texting me. Okay. And I was just like, okay, I cannot get this on my mind. It deals with Alex and Ava, and Alex and Ava do not like each other. Alex is grumpy to himself. We love that. And Ava is almost like shy, charismatic. Charismatic's not the right word. I'm gonna take that out. Ava's kind of like complete opposite sunshine. And her brother Josh is going out of state to a different country. He's like, hey, Alex, I need you to basically house sit and babysit my sister and their neighbors and y'all. Oh, and this book's rating 5 stars. I'd say 18 and older. Definitely 18 and older. The phone call. This was well hyped, I feel like. And I'm excited with the others. Like, I've definitely felt the tension with Josh and Jules. Yes, I'm really excited to read Twisted Hate. But again, like, this was just very good. I sped read this. I think technically I said on my Goodreads it said I started it on like February 28th, but I technically like started it way earlier than that, and like read it in like 2 to 3 days. But it was so good. I would say 18 years and older for this book.